Hey, how are you? I am Chris Robin, aka at Detroit Beastie, here with Fantasy Six Pack to talk about Thursday night football. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers head to Atlanta to battle the Falcons in the Mercedes-Benz Dome. Kickoff is at 8:15 p.m. Thursday night football should be a good one. Before I get into point spreads, which way I'm leaning, some player projections, and basically all the DFS knowledge I can give you for tonight's football game, make sure you get to the website, fantasy6pack.net. When you get there, look around, see what best suits your needs, and hop on over to the Discord, which is free, but there are some premium channels there if you want to sign up and get rolling. Tonight kicks off week 5, and we know what Fantasy Six Pack brings. Just winning rankings, award-winning rankings for your seasonal formats, all your IDP concerns, and let's not forget DFS and sports betting advice. That's why Keith and I are here. When we get back to this football game, as I said, kickoff is at 8:15 p.m. Tampa Bay in Atlanta. Few little weird occurrences that has happened between these two teams the last few weeks. Looks to be Tampa Bay's stud all-pro safety Antoine Winfield will not be active tonight. He was out the first 3 weeks, and it's already been said Antoine Winfield will not play tonight. And get this, the Atlanta Falcons did not score a touchdown last week, but they still an offensive touchdown, I should say, but they still won on a walk-off field goal from Young Ho Koo. They had a defensive touchdown, a pick six, and then on a punt, Rashid Shaheed fumbled the ball, and then the Atlanta Falcons returned that for a touchdown. And again, what are we going to do with Kirk Cousins and Darnell Mooney, Drake London, Ray, and the whole offense, the offensive skill positions, given the fact that the Falcons right now, their offensive line is wounded. They're the walking wounded. Is he a sitting duck? What will be? But let's kick it off with Kirk Cousins, shall we? Tampa Bay Buccaneers 27th overall against opposing quarterbacks. Kirk 13-5 on FanDuel, 8-6 on DK, 22 to 23 completions, around 240 yards, and I have Kirk good for 2 touchdown passes in this one, so looks to be okay. Injured offensive line or not, there's just too much talent and speed on the offensive skill position side of things for Kirk not to be, not a factor per se, but to not be in our DFS lines. MVP captain if you so feel the need to. But again, if you've watched these videos over the years, you know that how can I put this? Quarterback and MVP captain spot, I could take it or leave it. Most nights I'm leaving it unless it's like flashing neon sign, which I would relay the message to you. But tonight, it's just an unnecessary evil if you want to put Kirk or Baker in the MVP captain spot. When we look at Baker in Atlanta, Falcons 15th overall against opposing quarterbacks. I'm already talking about tight ends. That's where my head is at tonight. Kate Otten, we'll get there. Baker, 16 grand on FanDuel, 9-6 on DK, 23 to 24 completions, 250 yards, 2 touchdown passes as well, and around 10 to 12 yards on the ground, 2 to 3 carries. He'll take off and maybe move the chains at least once in this one. So of the two, I have a difference of around 20 yards, 10 more passing for Baker and around 10 more rushing. Actually, I should say about 5 more on the ground for Baker. When we look at the running backs in this one, Bijan Robinson looking for a big bounce back game. The kid is just immensely talented. There's no way that we would fade him in seasonal formats and especially in DFS formats tonight. Tampa Bay 23rd overall against opposing running backs, 14-5 on FanDuel, 9-8 on DK. I have B-Rob 15-16 carries, around 80 yards, plus 3 to 4 receptions for another 30 yards. So you're looking at over 100 all-purpose yards for Bijan. Will he find the end zone on the ground? That's the only rub here. I have Kirk throwing 2 touchdowns. One of those could be to Bijan, as I have the other one to Drake London, which as I should patent, which I will get to shortly. But Bijan, as of right now, I don't have him scoring a touchdown in my notes, but not crazier things have happened. He's the RB1. He's a stone cold stud for the Falcons. So we can move on. When you look at Tyler Algier getting 8 to 9 carries a game tonight, 45 yards, and a reception or two for 8 to 10 yards, I would say that, Bijan and Algier in relation to Rachaad White and Bucky Irvin, it's not close to 50-50, like the split in terms of the Atlanta Falcons backfield, as it is for Tampa Bay. But Algier plays a role. He has a place in our DFS lineups tonight, just in case. And again, Ty Al is only 4.8 on DK, so it makes for a nice little salary relief spot in a way where we're going to get 10 or more total touches. When we look at the Tampa Bay backfield, Rachaad White hasn't done much. He kind of came alive a little bit last week, and that was great to see. Atlanta right now 8th overall against opposing running backs. Is it enough to push me off or away from the Tampa Bay running backs? Absolutely, given what I have for the Tampa Bay wide receivers, Godwin, Evans, Kate Otten at tight end. So I think we can get away with not using Rachaad White tonight. Would I feel comfortable about it? Absolutely not. Rachaad White, 10-11 carries, around 40 to 45 yards, 3 to 4 receptions for around 25 yards. So we're looking at maybe 65 to 70 all-purpose yards. And when you look at Bucky Irvin, he's done enough where he commands our attention, our respect. 10-11 carries for Bucky, 40 yards on the ground, 2 to 3 receptions for another 15 yards. So the work and the total targets and touches are going to be oddly similar, split almost right down the middle. The only difference I have between the two running backs is around 10 yards, and that's receiving work. So to me, both are in play. Would I fade one for the other? Sure. Just I would maybe plug in Bucky Irving in both FanDuel or DraftKings, just because he's $500 to $100 cheaper on FanDuel and around $400 cheaper on DK. That's how tight single game slates can be. It's not enough to move the needle, in main slate stuff because of the hundreds here, hundreds there. But to me, Bucky Irvin would be the play. Just like throwing darts at the wall, or throwing some bone, rolling them bones, as they say. When we look at the wide receivers, that's where the action is for me tonight. You look at Drake London, Darnell Mooney, Ray McLeod. Obviously, all my attention would be on Drake London tonight. Tampa Bay 7th overall against opposing wide receivers. And without Antoine Winfield, that makes a huge difference. And it's not like it came out of nowhere. Antoine hasn't been active the last 3. This will be game 4 where he hasn't played. So to me, Drake London and Darnell Mooney, that 1-2 punch, very much in play. MVP captain and flex spot. That's the move I'm going to make tonight with the Atlanta wide receivers. Drake London, 11.5 on FanDuel, 8.8 on DraftKings, 8-9 targets, 6-7 receptions, 65 to 70 yards. And I have Drake receiving a touchdown pass from Kirk Cousins this evening. Darnell Mooney, how can we look past him? Mention him in bottom of the barrel, week 1, week 2. He made good on everything. He made good on my promise, I should say, having never met the guy. He doesn't know I exist, obviously. But hey, Darnell Mooney's always in play from here on out. I mean, I could have said that same statement week 2 and after. Darnell Mooney is in play. 6-7 targets, 4 to 5 receptions, around 60 yards. Darnell Mooney averaging around 15 yards a reception. That's great to see. Ray McLeod in play, but not on my radar in terms of the video, because I've shared this before. On a single game slate, I can get carried away, and I can put together 50 different unique lineups. And again, in my older age, now that I've turned 40, I try and hold that back. Maybe build about 15 or 20, unless I'm pressed for an event or a broadcast and I need to show off my lineup building skills or chops. But Ray McLeod is on the outside looking in as far as I'm concerned personally tonight. So we will transition to the Tampa Bay guys, Godwin and Mike Evans. Godwin, 12.5 on FanDuel. On FanDuel, Mike Evans is $14,000, so there's a difference in price tag there. Godwin, 10.6 on DK. Or $10,000 even. Godwin is on DK. Mike Evans, 10-2 on DK. I have each guy 8 to 9 targets. I have Godwin 6 to 7 receptions for around 70 yards, and I have Mike Evans 5 to 6 receptions for 70 yards. I could see a case where both guys score a touchdown tonight, receive a touchdown, and this is fun. I mean, this is week 5, so that we have four weeks of action and stats and stuff. Both players, Godwin and Evans, are averaging exactly 11.9 yards a reception. Not weird, not strange by any means, but it's just a fun little thing I found out. It's easily found anywhere. When we look at the tight ends, what the heck are we going to do with Kyle Pitts? Let me lean in and what are we going to do with Kyle Pitts? I mean, in seasonal formats, depending on, this is not a dynasty broadcast, but when you look at Kyle Pitts, people are still making fun of him. I did the clown edit not too long ago, and Kyle Pitts, 3 to 4 targets, 3 to 4 receptions, 35 yards, just a ho-hum kind of stat line, nothing crazy. And given his price tag isn't monumental, but I'd rather shave money and spend elsewhere, like Cade Otton, the Atlanta Falcons, 24th overall against opposing tight ends. Otton, 4 to 5 targets, 3 to 4 receptions, around 30 to 35 yards. And I think Cade Otton scores a touchdown again. So I had Baker throwing 3 touchdowns, but I have 3 touchdowns received from the Tampa Bay guys. I mean, that's can you give me like a margin of error of 1 touchdown? And the final score I give is pretty, I like to, hang my hat on the final score. This is exactly what I think it's going to be. But the margin of error, let's say from here on out, would be around 6 points, just 1 touchdown, whether it's on the ground or in the air, because I feel so strongly about Mike Evans receiving a touchdown and Cade Otton. So it would be Chris Godwin is kind of floating if he scores one. If not, no big deal. When we look at the DSTs, nothing crazy in play here. 2 to 3 sacks apiece, 1 interception apiece for each team. And when you look at the kickers, Young-Ho Koo was the man last week. He kicked a walk-off field goal to win this thing. And Chase MC for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as kicker. The only, Chase MC, the only thing that really, stands out to me is Atlanta's dead last in terms of defending opposing kickers. So Chase could have a nice evening. They're both, him and Koo, both 9.5 on FanDuel. The only difference is Chase is $400 less at $5,000 even on DK. Some recent betting trends, and I'll give you the final score here. Tampa Bay, 8-3 against the spread their last 11 games. Tampa Bay's also 6-2 straight up their last 8 games against Atlanta. The Falcons, 3-6 straight up their last 9 games. And the Falcons, 2-8 against the spread their last 10 games at home. Atlanta's at home. We shall see. They could buck the trend, and we'll move on from there. The MLB playoffs are in. It's just a lovely time of the year. Bottom of the barrel will be out tomorrow on Friday. Enjoy Thursday night football. Give me the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win on the road and take them the plus 2.5 points, as I have them winning outright 24-21. Be good, be safe, and I will see you again soon. Sunday. Let's get together Sunday at noon. We'll talk DFS live at Fantasy Six Pack leading up to the 1 p.m. lock time. See you later. Tampa Bay wins 24-21. Bye-bye.